Hey there, movie fans. The first topic is the news that the Taylor Swift Toll movie didn't beat the record for biggest opening for October for a movie. It was the Joker horrors. I believe the Joker opened to 95 to 97, somewhere around there. And I think the Taylor Swift movie opened to 92. I'm actually surprised it didn't beat it. I honestly thought the Taylor Swift movie was going to open like over 100. Because because the way like people talk about Taylor Swift seems like she has a lot of fans. So I thought the movie was actually going to open big. Like it opened big, but I actually thought it was going to beat the Joker's record for biggest October opening. I am kind of happy about it because I do love the Joker movie, but I am definitely surprised that it didn't beat it. Because especially when Joker's like an all-rated movie too. So I figured Taylor Swift tour movie would have a bigger, like more of a bigger audience for that movie. When it comes to that movie, I don't have any interest in it. I'm not like the biggest Taylor Swift fan. When it comes to I'm not like she seems like a cool person. I don't really listen to her music all that much. But obviously it's still open big, and I can see that movie definitely having legs for the Taylor for people who are really big Taylor Swift fans. The next thing I want to talk about is news that the director of New Hunger Games said that he regretted splitting Mockingjay into two parts when they came into because he directed both Mockingjay movies back then. Now, I am a big Hunger Games fan. I never read any of the books. I love the first two movies, but I agree with him. I know back then he stood by the decision of splitting it into two, and now he regrets that decision. And the new one looks really good. But Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 were just kind of okay movies, in my opinion. Like, the way the franchise ended, I thought was, like, fine, but wasn't great. And they were both step downs from the first two movies, in my opinion. It also seemed to be a trend back then where it was like, let's take the final movie that's based on a book series and split it into two parts. Like Harry Potter was the only one I felt like that did it great, where it was like I love both parts of the final movie in that franchise. And it didn't feel like part one was left on like a cliffhanger where I was like, really? So I just felt like they did it the best. I know Twilight did it too. There was like a bunch of book franchises that did that, and I think Harry Potter, like I said, was the only one that did it really successfully. And I do think Mockingjay Part One, and I heard that's the weakest book in the series. I feel like that would have been better as just one movie instead of two movies. So I agree with him personally. And like I said, I'm really excited for the new movie. I think the trailers for the new Hunger Games movie looks really fantastic in my opinion. Next thing I'll talk about is that it sounds like there's a report going around that the trailer for Man Web might come out next week. Now, when it comes to the Man Web movie, I have very little interest in it. Like, I'll check it out because it's based on a Marvel character, but her character is not exactly an Aston type character, and I don't know if the character is the type of character you can lead a whole movie with. And I know there's different versions of Man Web in the comics, obviously. And look, the photos have made me a little intrigued because it looks interesting from the photos, the story they're telling. But I really hope this trailer gets me excited because right now I'm kind of like lukewarm when it comes to this movie. And I think overall, when it comes to the Sony verse, I still think it's not really the best idea to do a whole Sony verse with characters that are directly connected to Spider Man in some way. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I felt like without Spider Man in these movies, I still don't think it's a good idea to try this. And the quality of the Sonyverse movies haven't exactly been great. Like I enjoyed the first Venom movie, but it's not great. And I'll admit, I do love Venom Let There Be Carnage, but I'm in the minority of that. I can understand all the issues people have with that movie. But I don't know, for some reason it worked for me a lot, the second Venom movie. Morbius I thought was terrible. So right now I'm kind of like I said, I'm lukewarm on a Man of Web movie right now. I'm not like the most excited about it, but hopefully the trailer gets me more excited for this movie. Next thing I want to talk about is news that the director of the new Alien movie, who also directed the 2013 Evil Dead movie and Don't Breathe, has a director's cut of the movie that he showed Ridley Scott, the director of the original Alien movie, and I think Ridley Scott, he is a producer on the new Alien movie. He also directed the two Alien prequels, and he's a great director. But I just love the story because it says here he's very much a fan of Ridley Scott. I wanted him to see it before anybody said, and everybody gave me the heads up that Ridley is really tough. He's really tough, particularly if it has something to do with his movies. He's really tough on Blade Runner 2049, which I love. I think that's one of the rare sequels better than the original. I do love the original Blade Runner, though. So I thought it was a masterpiece. He had issues with it because it's really hard for him because it's his work. I asked him about the new Top Gun. He's like, "Meh." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "My part was original. This is like, eh." You really respected it, but you could see how tough he was. So I was like, there's no way I can win this. I think that's just funny because Ridley Scott is definitely very honest about his opinions, which I don't always agree with. I think sometimes he says stuff where I'm just like, sounds like a kind of sounds like Martin Scorsese, where he sounds like an like old guy who's just like in a grunty, just in a like crappy mood sometimes. Where I'm like in a grumpy mood sometimes, where it just seems like he sometimes just say something and be like it kind of. I'll say this: I'm not always a fan of just what he says, like Martin Scorsese sometimes about his comments on film sometimes. But he is one of the best filmmakers. He's directed some great movies. And I think it's just cool that this guy is a fan of Ridley Scott, and Ridley Scott got to see an early cut of this movie. And he also said this, and he walks into the movie and he said, "What can I say? It's effing great." For me, it was like my family knows it was one of the best moments of my life to have a master like him who I admire so much. Even watching a movie I made, but particularly something like this, and talk to me for an hour about what he liked about it. And one of the best compliments he said was, "The dollar is great. Are you the writer?" Yes. Again, I just love that part of the story too. Because I can imagine, like you're showing a filmmaker that you're a fan of, a cut of your movie that you have coming out at some point. And I just love the fact that it was just a nice, sweet story about like when it comes to him with the coming to him being a fan of Ridley Scott. And look, Ridley Scott, like I said, he's made some bad movies, and this whole and him getting a seal of approval from Ridley Scott does not guarantee this new Alien movie is gonna be fun or great. I mean, Ridley Scott, like I said, he also made the Alien prequels, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which I thought was shit. Like I love the original Alien movie that he directed. He also made it two prequels. I remember he was gonna do like a whole 5 film prequel story. Was don't understand why. Like I'm glad they canned that idea. I don't understand why you needed 5 films to tell that story. But again, I think it's just a nice, sweet story. This does make me more excited that he got the seal of approval from the director who did the original Alien movie and just one of the best directors. And again, I'm just really excited for this movie. I mean, I was already excited with the fact that the guy who's doing this is the guy who did Don't Breathe, the first Don't Breathe movie, which I love, and he did the 2013 with that movie, which I think was just a fun, solid, entertaining horror movie. But also hearing he got the approval from Ridley Scott makes me even more excited. So I can't wait for this new Alien movie. I'm hoping this new Alien movie is what Prey did for Predator, where it gets me excited for the Alien franchise. Because personally for me, I love the first 2 Alien movies. Everything else after that is either okay or terrible, and I really would like to see this franchise get back to the quality of the first 2. So that's all the movie news today. Until next time, fans.